You are now listening to the National Show with Gangsterville and McGee. The National Show, the National Show, the National Show, no show, no show. The National Show, the National Show, the National Show, no show, no show. All right, No Nation. This is the National Show with Gangsterville and McGee. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube if you're watching us. That's YouTube / National NATIONOLE. Also, IG, X, and all of the links that you need on our Linktree / National Show. That's NATIONOLESHOW. And then you can check out our website, national.com, NATIONOLE.com. Tell a friend to tell a friend, hit the likes, hit the alerts, share the love of Florida State sports. So yeah, man, we are getting there, man.
Yo. Football starts soon, bro. Soon.
Right.
Soon. Soon. So we got some things to talk about, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got to get ready. We got to get ready.
Right.
First thing to think about is the big picture. All right, let's start at the top, and then we'll start working on the little things. But let's look at the big picture. Let's see who got a chance to win the Natty this year. How much money we might be able to make on it, on those teams if we bet on those teams. Right? These are really important questions. These are things. This is where we got to start.
Right.
So I figured we'd talk a little national championship today. But first, I got quick pro no report. Is kind of a slow sports time, this point of the year. Basketball's over, hockey's over. We got some international soccer rocking. Because of that, the NWSL is on break, but on that front, they're about halfway into their season. And right now, Orlando Pride is second in the standings. They got 8 wins, 4 losses, and a draw.
Oh, nice.
I bring this up because we have 2 pronos on their defensive side of their field, and they're both playing like they're both crushing, man. Carson Pickett and Emily Sams. Emily Sams also just a few weeks ago, big win with the women's national team, the U.S. women's national team against Ireland, who also has a prono in Megan Connolly on that team. So it's all Florida State kind of runs women's soccer. It's a good feeling. Where the big boys on the block,
Awesome.
Just a little bit down the standings is also the Portland Thorn. We're having a great year, and Dania Christina Castellanos is a big part of that. She's having a great season too. So that's what's going on in the women's soccer. In golf, we got Daniel Berger and Lou Clanton both are playing this weekend in the Scottish Open. They both just they're on like a hole 2-3. I mean, they both just teed off. Daniel Berger went off at 90-1, plus 9,000 this weekend, and Lou Clanton 110, so plus 11,000. One of us on this pod may have put a little something on Lou Clanton. I think he's going to get a W in this. His rookie year basically is the second half of the summer. Because he came from college, but I think he's going to get one somewhere here. I just feel like. His game's amazing. He might have missed the cut last week of the John Deere, but his game's solid, and I think he's going to get a win sometime before the end of the summer. So I'd like to be on him when that happens, and if that happens this weekend, I'll be doing a dance in the evening. That's a big number. I love those big numbers. Also, I was doing a dance the other evening. I texted you. All our guys, our team, the Connecticut Sun in the WNBA. They got a W.
Man. That's huge, man. Like you said, that third one.
It's a hard one.
Right. Definitely not a charm.
It was a 10-point, home victory. Like he played well. I mean, I just read the
Right.
recap. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, it's not like I dialed in to watch the game, but it was
Yeah.
by all reports, good outing by the Connecticut Sun. So shout out to the Connecticut Sun, and
Nice.
and then that brings us back to baseball because this weekend is the All-Star weekend festivities, All-Star game weekend, right? And Sunday is the Home Run Derby. And
Nice.
first time in a long time, it is appointment watch. It is appointment television for me. I am going to be paying attention to the Home Run Derby because our guy
What?
leading the league in home runs is going to be in the Home Run Derby this weekend. Let me see if I can find those odds real quick.
Right.
That is Sunday afternoon, and that's gonna be a fun one.
Nice. Sunday afternoon. I got to put that in my calendar, man. Crazy because it's like I've never been too big on the MLB unless it's Florida State involved, and that's since Barry Bonds days, bro. Like.
Yeah,
Buster Posey saved the MLB for me for a bunch of years.
Yeah, I get it. All right, let's see. Oh well, if I can find it, I'll bring it back up. But I don't see it readily available. I'm sure his odds are not long. I mean, I'm sure he's one of the favorites, and I don't care. I think I'm still going to bet him. That sounds like a good time to me.
Yeah, heck yeah. Easy money on the Seminole. Why not?
Yeah, there we go. There is like a what's the word I'm looking for? There's like a belief that there's a curse or something. So there's a theory. That's all. That's what we should call it. Not a curse. Mm-hmm. There's a theory out there that entering the Home Run Derby can mess up your swing for the second half of the season. Sometimes the guys that are in it don't keep the same pace in the second half like they had in the first half. But when you're a rookie and you're having this kind of attention, you don't pass up on this platform.
Right.
So I'm gonna be cheering for him. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's talk about the Natty. We said it was going to happen. Let's do this. This is really important. I figured we'd start with Florida State, obviously, because that's what we care about the most about. But it's really important that when we talk about futures, that you look at all the numbers being offered to you from all the books in whatever situation you're at. Right? You got to find the best number. And I say it all the time, shop around. And when I brought up, to start this conversation, when I brought up Florida State, I said, I see exactly why I always say it. Right? So I'm specifically looking at Arizona because that's where you live. And shout out to your new neighbor, our homie, Jimmy Trifecta. That's pretty cool.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Heck yeah.
I'm going to have to come out and hang a little bit. But
hell yeah.
I'm looking at the Arizona situation. I got all the books for Arizona, and there's wildly different numbers for Florida State. Okay? One book has them at plus 9,500, which is 95 to 1. That's a decent payoff. But when you shop around, you very quickly find another book that has them at 100 to 1. That's an extra, if you put in $10 on that, that's an extra $50 right there, for winning the same bet. But then you keep looking because you always shop around. You find the best number, and you find that another book has them at 200 to 1. Another book, very popular book, has them at plus 250 or plus 25,000, which is 250 to 1.
Yeah.
And there is a book. If you shop around, actually in Arizona, there's an even better one, but there's a very popular book that if you shop around is offering them at 300 to 1. Damn. Very popular book. It's everybody has access to this, But in Arizona, there's another book, and if you got to really look at every single option. This isn't nearly the big name that we're all used to looking at the apps of, and we would recognize the logo of. But there's another
Mm-hmm.
book in Arizona that is presently offering Florida State to win the national championship at plus 47,500, which is 475 to 1.
Oh, yeah.
So whereas one book, if you are all the way at one end of the spectrum, is offering them at 95 to 1, this other book is offering them at 475 to 1. Right, so you've got to shop around, man, and every state has different options, different availability, etc. As we talk about this, I'll generally look at like an average or whatever the biggest number is, and most of the teams don't have this kind of big swing like Florida State is available on Florida State, but yeah, if you're going to give me 475 to 1 on the Noles, I'm betting that. So I will text you the name of that book on the side, because we're not getting paid by any of these entities, any of these apps, any of these brands. So we're not going to say that which outfit is offering which numbers, But so it's a long shot, buddy, but 475 to 1. I'm with that. I'm with that. That is not being offered in Florida, so I might have to come visit and place that action while I'm there.
Heck yeah.
I figured the other one that caught my eye, not too much, kind of in a similar situation as Florida State, is Nebraska football. And the reason that caught my eye is on the Bet Your Ash podcasting network. I also produced a podcast that's hosted by Timmy Nebraska, and in the fall, it's co-hosted by Brock White, and they're big Nebraska football fans. The show's called the Nebraska Hour, and so that caught my attention. For the most part, if you shop around, you can get them at 150, at 15,000. That's interesting to me. That's a big number. It's a really tough conference, but. Same with Florida State. When you're looking at a long shot like this in college football, you're going to talk yourself into it via those. Oh, but there's 14 teams in the playoffs now. You don't need to win the conference anymore to win the net. Not that tied together. So I know it's a crowded conference in Nebraska. There's a lot of talent at the top of that conference, and that probably leads to a couple else without even really diving into their schedule. But if they can get in the playoffs, if they're somehow peaking, maybe it's worth. If you're a Nebraska fan, maybe it's worth putting a little money on that.
Yeah, it's all about getting in the playoffs and who's hot when they get in the playoffs, man. Because we saw that from last year. Look how SMU had the steam all throughout the season, and then Clemson right at the end of the year did that slide in or whatever. So it's all right. That's why I love the playoffs, man. We're getting out of college football.
You brought up SMU. Let's just real quick. Let's talk about some of the ACC teams since you brought up the two of them, right? You can get Louisville at 100 to 1 if you shop around. You can get SMU also at 100 to 1 or even 150 to 1 in one book. That's crazy. 15,000. I think that's a wager I would take. That's a very popular book too. Everybody could probably get that number. SMU is super sneaky, man. Super sneaky. That's a fun one. Let's see who else. Miami, 4,000. So one book has it as 5,000. So 50 to 1. That's a great payoff on a bet. You know what I mean? If you're a Miami fan and you think they got a chance, you think Carson Beck's the answer? He's been there. Okay.
All right.
I'm cheering for you. And then that brings us to Clemson. Obviously, the top dog going into the season in the ACC. And odds-wise, Vegas-wise, one of the top dogs going into the season this year. I think that's largely because a year together, continuity and growth at quarterback position, and maybe some depth now that they brought in a transfer too. You can still get them if you shop around at 10 to 1, at plus 1,000. Oh, one book actually has them at 14. So at 1,400, 1,400. You can bet $100 to win $1,400. That's not bad. They're the third lowest or highest, depending on perspective, right? The third lowest odds to win. The other two that are shorter odds are. I said third. I apologize. They're sixth. The other five with the shorter odds. Let's talk about all the favorites. You got Oregon. You can get them at 10-1, similar to Clemson. You can get Penn State right now at 800-1, or plus 800 at 8-1. You can get Georgia. I don't know if this is Georgia's year. I don't know if this is Georgia's year, but you can get Georgia at plus 700, 7-1. Texas, you shop around, you can get them at 600, and Ohio State, you can also get at 600 if you shop around.
Word.
So those are kind of the favorites. Alabama's just outside of Clemson. Alabama and Notre Dame, you can get both of them at 15. Actually, Notre Dame's gone down. You can get Notre Dame at 14-1 if you shop around at plus 1,400.
Word,
that's weird to see Alabama that low, but I think that's indicative of the number of fans they have. Same with Notre Dame, indicative of the number of fans they have.
Yep.
But you never know. I mean, last year could have been a blip for Alabama, and this is their bounce back year, and we're going to find out right away.
Yeah, plus it was a transition year, man. It was the first year after Coach Saban had left, man. Get a guy at least 2 or 3 solid years, man, especially with this environment, man. Nobody knows his system. Probably only had maybe about a year worth of recruits specifically for his system. So yeah, give him time, man.
Yeah, and if you think Alabama's about to bounce back to where they are, 15-1 ain't bad, man. Plus 1,500, that's a nice number.
Yeah.
They're going to still have the fan support and everything. Like they're still going to beat Alabama. It's still going to be Roll Tide or whatever they're yelling all the time, and they got an elephant involved with everything. Like they're a real program. It was just one bad year.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that's what everybody's saying about us too. Come the start of the season.
Right. We got to do better, man. We cleared house, so yeah.
We're in the same boat as Alabama. We're also in the same boat as Michigan. They're trying to have a bounce back season, right? They had a weird year, but then they knocked off Ohio State. It was very strange what was going on there.
Yeah.
If you shop around, you can get them at 33 plus 3,300. So 33-1. That's a nice number for a good program that traditionally in the mix. That if they regress back towards, not regress, I guess whatever the opposite of that is. If they get back towards what their norm is, they can be in the mix. When I bring up national championship, what's the first team that pops in your head?
It's so open this year, man. I really can't say a clear cut or whatever, but if I were to choose one, or if I were to choose two, I'm saying Texas, like you said, and Clemson. And I'm saying those two because Texas, of course, they got the Manning kid and all of the offensive and defensive linemen to trench whatever they got going on. So, Texas is going to be there. And then they're one of the few powerhouses left in the SEC with Georgia, Alabama going through transition, and LSU going through transitioning and stuff or whatever. And then the second team outside of Texas, I would say it's Clemson. And I only say that because they got the continuity with their quarterback, Klubacek, whatever his name is or whatever. He's been there for like 4 years, 3 or 4 years or whatever. Klubnik. That's it. Yeah,
something like that. We're close. Yeah. It's not disrespect. It's just we're idiots. Sorry to the Clemson fans out there.
Right.
Actually, you know what? I'm not really sorry. I don't really care about the Clemson.
But I give them the credit. They do have a good team. They have a team. They have a well-balanced team and team full of recruits that they have had over the last 2 or 3 years. And old boy Dabo is finally taking in the transfer portal. So it could be scary next year, man.
Yeah.
And then they got it right at the end of last year, man. So, I'm looking out for them to
they're the real deal.
Damage.
Clemson's the real deal. And ultimately, Ohio State, although they retool like nobody right now, like they retool, like they have taken it to another level. They're a factory up there.
Mm-hmm.
They lost a lot of really key players that were a part of their team last year. So yeah, I think it's a spot that's open, for the taking, and a Texas or a Clemson or they're kind of, I don't see Notre Dame doing it. Maybe Oregon. Maybe this is Oregon's year. This could be Penn State's year.
Depends on who their quarterback is, man. Yeah, a lot of it. I feel a lot of teams just depend on how they feel the quarterback position. Like Ohio State, Will Howard. That was a huge key to their success or whatever.
How are they going to fill that spot?
But and then they lost both of their running backs or whatever. But like you said, they always retool. That they have a stud at wide receiver, a stud. So all they have to do is just get the right quarterback, and boom, bam, they could be right back in that thing. Who knows? It could be there. You know what I mean? Or you could not be there, or whatever.
Yeah,
gotta wait and see.
Exactly. If they get a gamer, they're going to be in the mix. It's weird. Remember last year going into this, I was talking about Penn State at 25-1, taking a little flyer. You don't get it. They made a little run at it, and now you don't get that number this year. This year the best I see out there is that 800 number. But I don't think. I think that's a fair number. I think they are. They're not like off the radar of anybody this year, like they have been in the past. Like they are showing up. That game's circled on calendars. Penn State's a big one for a lot of teams, so it's going to be much harder for them to make the run that they made last year, I suspect. But I also suspect that they're a little bit better than they were. That year they had a great season last year, and they're going to be a better football team as a result of that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I don't hate the Penn State bet. I would love it if that was 12 instead of 8. I'd be on it real quick. But 8 seems like a fair number. I still like them, but I think Clemson and Texas. I think that was the right answer, buddy. I think you nailed it there. If that is the national championship matchup, we're going to be clipping this with the date.
All of that. All of that, man.
I hope that isn't, though. I really hope that isn't.
Yeah, same here.
What I don't like is when the national championship has teams with similar colors. Right, like I don't want Texas and Clemson there, and everybody's in some shade of orange. Like that doesn't. That was
crazy.
It'd be a little weird, But I think that could be a very good game. I think Texas would stomp them. I think Texas is a better team than Clemson, but I'm biased, and I'm we're weeks out. I haven't seen a single down of football yet. Don't listen to me, but. I would definitely
tell you is Clemson always stand tall with the big boys or whatever. Whenever they play Georgia, Texas, the SEC teams and Big Ten teams and stuff, whatever, they will be prepared. They will come to play. I think the X factor could be the transfer portal if he hit it harder. Yeah, he hit it harder this offseason, and he's probably hit it the last 2 or 3 off seasons combined.
Ever? No, I think it's ever. They're not really a transfer team, And this year they opened it up, and they opened up a couple spots. That's just gonna help. That's not gonna hurt. There was more people being considered than spots available, right? So they were being selective, probably, right? Picking the right guys, presumably. I worry about it. I think Clemson's gonna run Going to run the ACC for sure, and be in this mix. You're right; they aren't scared by the big games. They're used to playing SEC talent every year. They play their rival. They play USC, right? Is that an annual game like we have with Florida? Right, so they're not scared of that shit.
Right. And then also I think an outside dark horse that no one's looking at that could be a really, really, really good team this year.
I like this game. Who?
I hate to say it because it's one of our rivals, but it's freaking Florida, man.
You can get them at. I meant to bring this up, okay? Because this is another team that has a big gap. Most of the books have it at 4,000 or 4,500, but if you shop around. There is actually some even have it as low as 3,000. If you shop around, especially in your state, in Arizona, there's one book that offers it at 6,600. So 100 to win, $6,600.
You know what?
So
That
if you
would
like
be the
Florida, go to
only way.
Arizona and place your action.
I'm gonna have to place a bet because that would be the only thing to make me feel good if they did win the championship next year, man. It's like at least I got some benefits off of it.
Yeah, I mean that's your move.
Yeah.
You put a little something on Florida, put a little something on Texas, put a little something on Clemson, and and then make sure that one of them hits, great. If if Clemson or Texas hit, great. But if Florida hits, you get that big check.
Yeah,
you get the big golfer check. That's the fun one.
Yeah, but they got a nice young team. That kid Lagway at quarterback is definitely something special.
Yes.
They got to keep the receiver Wilson. They retooled on defense. Really, the biggest question for them isn't even the talent; it's in coaching on the defensive end or whatever. So, as long as they can figure out how to get that defense coaching and that freshman or sophomore now quarterback and cut them turnovers down, they can do some serious damage this year, man.
I have two questions as a result of that. One, Lagway NFL talent. Like, do you see a future for him? Long? You think he's going to be around for long?
Yes.
He's got everything everybody looks for. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's young too, man. You never know. He could wake up. He could start this season 2 inches taller than he ended last season.
Right. And if you remember, he literally saved his coach's job, dude. It was like right around the Miami, Florida game. They was talking about firing their coach and everything, whatever, man. So he stepped in and got him a couple wins, won a couple games that they were supposed to lose last year. And this was a true freshman coming out of high school, man.
Yeah.
And one of my friends put me on. One thing I didn't know about was his size, dude. He's like 6'5", like 250. Like he's huge.
Amazing.
He's big. Yeah. So,
and we're seeing more of that in the NFL. Like there was a time when that quarterback's too tall, right? Remember Brock Osweiler would come out. That's what people would say. That's not right. That's foolish. You want a tall quarterback because they got to see over the monsters that are blocking for him. Right. You're probably right. I don't want to see him in Tampa. That's for sure. I don't want to have to root for a Florida quarterback. That's my big concern.
I feel you.
Here's the other thing I wanted to talk to you about. There's a couple of SEC teams that had some numbers that stood out to me. That these are good programs that had good years or should have had a little bit better years last year and have booster backing and do engage in the transfer portal. And if they made some good decisions, they are going to be a better team. They could be really in the conversation. And so we should at least look at these numbers. Okay? One of these two teams that I want to ask you about is LSU. LSU got some weird losses that I don't think they will lose. I don't know. They're a good team. They have a coach with, even if he's a fucking weirdo, he's got a track record of winning, right? He's a good coach on the field. And you can get LSU right now, if you shop around, at 19-1, plus 1,900. That seems like a pretty big number for a really good team that could be in the mix. And then the other one I wanted to put on out into conversation. You shop around, you can get 6,600, 66-1 on Tennessee. Tennessee was a lot. They were making the run, and Tennessee was a really good team for most of last season. If they have improved,
I honestly would say that they've digressed because
you think they've gone backwards.
They don't have their quarterback. Remember, Amaliva transferred.
Yeah,
remember that
UCLA, right? He was going to go. Didn't he go to UCLA, and then his brother went to UCLA to back him up or something?
Yeah, because remember he was asking for like a bigger NIL deal or something like that from Tennessee, and Tennessee was like, "Nah, player." And then
if I remember correctly, he was just asking for what they had promised him.
No, he had already had an agreement though.
I thought the agreement was for the $1 million and they came up short. And he was like, "What's up?"
No. He already had an agreement, and then I guess after having such a big year last year, that from what I was reading, his dad pushed him like, "Hey, he's worth $5 more million now, or whatever." And Tennessee was like, "We're not going to play this game." And
hey man, you're always allowed to ask for a raise, and your boss is always allowed to say "fuck no."
Yeah,
but
I still feel, but the thing that killed him is he was a no-show for like spring practice. He was sitting out practices and stuff like that or whatever. You know what I mean?
I'm interested to see how it goes for him in UCLA, man. UCLA is a sleeping giant now that they've and like they could be effective if the right coaching staff, the right recruiting a couple years in a row, they could be a mess, man. They could be a real problem. And they can get money together if they need to for some NIL.
Yeah. We all know that.
Yeah, all those LA guys.
Reggie Bush.
Yeah, USC can do it. You know, there's a lot of money in their boosters. You know, amongst the boosters.
Shout out to Reggie Bush, man. I just couldn't imagine being bruh sitting back watching college football right now with all the money and stuff being thrown around, man. Shout out to him and everyone else that came back in the era where they couldn't get paid. And
that's right.
Watching these kids like renegotiate contracts. it's shit, man. So
yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, Tennessee.
I mean, at least those guys didn't have to pay taxes on their earnings.
Leave it to McGee, boy. That's funny.
The thing is, I always wanted, like as a kid, I always wanted to be the shady booster, like giving the $100 handshakes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Heck yeah.
And the NIL era has taken that from me. Like I'm almost to the point where I have the money to go throw it around frivolously. Did I say that right? I think so. Or you can go throw it around, and now I'm never going to get to throw it around the way I wanted to. All these years, I wanted to be a shady booster, and now I got to be like an above-board NIL fundraiser. It's not nearly as fun. It's not, it's like legalized gambling, man. I loved the illegal part of it all. Like, I love the shady rendezvous and meeting my guy at like a specific bar for happy hour, and either I'm handing him a bag or he's handing me a bag, and like I love the envelopes. Envelopes. There's something sneaky and shady about envelopes that was enjoyable. And now it's all like digital transactions and records. It's not nearly as much fun.
Right. Crazy, man.
Such as life. Things evolve. Things that were once illegal are now legal. Things that were once legal are now illegal. Like, that's how
sports that used to completely ban gambling and stuff is now trying to get teams in Vegas, and some of them got teams in Vegas.
Amazing, right? Amazing.
Right.
Amazing. I'll go to the first NBA, regular season, like legit NBA franchise. If there's an NBA franchise in Vegas, I'll fly out there for that.
Oh yeah.
That'll be fun. I think
I keep forgetting the Raiders are there, man. I'm gonna have to get me a ticket because that's like right up the road from me.
Or you and Jimmy Trifecta could leave. Talk the ladies into signing your permission slips and do a little road trip real quick and bounce a little field trip and bounce over there. It's a quick flight, or it's a not even that long a drive. I bet.
I'm about to say it's a quick drive, man. It's not only about a few hours, 2-3 hours, I think.
Tell you what, I said I would visit you guys out there. Instead, I'll just meet you in Vegas. We'll have a good time.
That always works.
Look at that Raiders.
Always work.
And let's see if either the Bucks are there, or maybe Jimmy Trifecta's Ravens are going there, or there's some other home game that it looks like fun. It looks like it would be a good time.
Yeah. And, that's also what we connected. That's my second favorite team on the low, Ravens.
We'll start a little text thread, and we'll find out. All right.
I like that.
I haven't been to Vegas in way too long. Shout out to Cool DJ Dialect. I love you, bro. All right.
Nice.
This was fun. When the season gets closer, maybe we take another look at these numbers. Maybe some of them have changed. Maybe they've gotten longer or shorter because news has come out or actions come in. That's really what dictates the numbers, is based on what the public's betting.
Right.
Let's see. 475-1 on the Knowles. I'm in on that. I got a quick 20 to put on that one. Easy,
Right.
easy. Just in case.
Easy. Right.
In case.
Right.
All right. Cool. Anything else before I wrap it up?
New NCAA game is coming out. I want to say today. Today it comes out or whatever.
We should. Are you gonna hop on the sticks and develop a team and play? I can't wait to hear all of that.
But what I love about it is they are from what I've been reading about it is they're making it true to the transfer portal. One kid said he won his last 4 or 5 games, won his bowl game, and 28 players hit the transfer. There's even a glitch I heard in the game where a couple Miami players had transferred at halftime. I was like, wow, I can't wait to get into this.
That's
I'll definitely have a rundown on the next episode. Yeah,
that's very cool that they do that. I wish, for the same reasons that I had to retire from DJing, like I can't really play video games anymore. I got like arthritis and it hurts my hands when I do that stuff. It sucks. I would love to still DJ, trust me. Not always. Sometimes I would love to still DJ. Sometimes I'm happy I don't do it anymore. All right, but for the same reasons I can't play video games. But I used to love that shit, man, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say about it. I like that they're making it extra uber real, hyper realistic. Good enough, the transfer portal stuff. That's cool.
Yep.
That's cool. All right. Well, that's what we'll be talking about next week. Gangsters will report back, or soon, maybe not next week. Are you're going to be on it this weekend? You're going to be ready for next week report back? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Look at us previewing the next episode at the end of the present episode. We're getting professional.
Man.
The National Show is available most Thursday mornings during the season, every Thursday morning on YouTube /@National NATIONOLE. We're all over the socials. Do we have Facebook? I don't think we have Facebook. We have Instagram and X, right? Mm-hmm. That's cool. Those good enough for us. All those links and the YouTube link and everything else, all the ways to talk to us, everything's available on our link tree. It is /National Show, NATIONOLESHOW, or on our website, national.com. You can also enjoy the show as an audio-only product via the Bet Your Ash Podcasting Network. It is available at betyourash.com and the Bet Your Ash feeds on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Oh, wait. Also on Linktree, Gangstaville. Mm-hmm. It is /GAINSTAVILLE. And there you will find all of his links to all of his social medias, plus links to all his dope-ass music for your ears to enjoy. Check it all out. Listen to it on all the different platforms. Like it on all the different platforms. Download it, rate it, all those things on all the different platforms. That is the best way to support your friends that make music. And Gangstaville is your friend. Just say thank you. What else? That's it? Am I missing anything? Oh, okay. Well then, go Noles.
Go Noles.
And you have just finished listening to The National Show with Gangsta, Physio, and McGee.